Hello, morning. Just going to get me SHIT together. Let's talk freakouts today. Let's talk creative freakouts. You know that phrase, keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and write. Keep calm and whatever it is you happen to be freaking out over. Keep calm and write. Keep calm and paint. What is the thing that causes you to freak out? And how can we get some calm around that? That's what I'd like to talk about today. Mandakini, good morning, and let's not keep calm. Let's go crazy. Okay, full disclosure. Yeah, cookie. Me just here for the cookie. Me just here. Have you ever seen anyone calmer than Cookie Monster? He's just relaxed. He's the picture of relaxation. One of the things that we have to struggle sometimes with as creatives is calming down enough about the idea of being an artist, of being a writer. I know I have freaked out about being a writer really since I was small, since I was about 8, and when I realized I wanted to write. And I wanted to write not necessarily um, for a living or for fame or anything like that. I just felt the urge to tell stories, to tell the stories that always inspired me and helped me along. So as a child, I would have learned that writers generally didn't do very well. Their health was generally quite bad. Um, they were regarded poorly. They were shunned. They were shamed into going and getting a real job. Um, they were sometimes alcoholic. They were shown to be unreliable, untrustworthy, um, unkempt, shabby. Um, and I suppose as a little girl, I didn't want that. Who does? And a lot of it was kind of peer pressure and wanting the need for people to approve of me, and say, "Oh, good girl, you did really well there." Now. So I suppose from that, I formed a certain opinion that I had to be a certain kind of writer in order to get that approval, in order to get that yeah, I suppose seal of approval, and just needing to curate that and say, okay, well, I'm going to write a certain thing. I am going to write for publication. That became a mantra. That became something that kind of kept the wolf from the door, kept the criticism from the door. My own judge as well as everybody else's, because when people find out that you're a writer, in my experience anyway, when people find out that you're a writer or an artist, they generally go a bit mental. Oh my God, they get so excited. They get so excited. Oh, you're a writer? What do you write? Have I read anything of yours? And you're like, oh my God, if I said I was an engineer or I was a heart surgeon, would you get that excited? Probably not. But because writing and art and creativity and ballet dancing and whatever else, because it's a little bit different, it's off center a bit, folks do tend to freak out a bit. And that can be alarming, but it can also be quite, it can be quite, it can feed our ego. It can be quite exciting to be regarded in that way. And I lived off that for a long time. I lived off other people's excitement about my writing, my saying that I was a writer. Because in truth, I was terrified and I wasn't doing any writing. You see, but if you talk the talk, it really helps. But at some point, you wake up and you kind of go, "I'm fooling nobody here," and anyway, nobody cares. Only I care. So I realized that I was fooling nobody, and also the writing that I was producing was it was almost like I was trying to, produce something that other people would like, and what was happening was I was so untrue to myself so often for so long, that it started to hurt, and I started to hate writing, and I started to, resent it, find reasons to not do it, you know? So procrastination, it's not a new thing, but, it kind of went against my whole identity as a writer, or what I was, putting out into the world as an image of a writer, you know? So, yeah, the idea of keeping calm, um, around writing and around creating is something that the artist's way has given me. And what it's done is it has allowed me tune out all the freaking out, my own and others, other people's freakouts, other people's gasp. And I would love to hear if other people have experienced that, if it gets so bad that you just lie and say, um, "I'm a roofer, I'm an engineer, um, I'm a painter and decorator." Just something safe, something safer. Yeah, it takes a lot of calm to declare that we're artists, and it also takes calm from the people around us, you know? So it's very important to find the people who we trust, who are open to the idea of arts and culture and making it either for a living or as a hobby. And it's very important to find the people who will support you as you take those first steps, you know? And the people who are generally exhilarated by your declaring what you are and what you do. Um, I have found I've moved away from those people, because their praise and excitement is just distracting me enough to stop working. It's feeding my ego more than it's feeding myself. So on the artist way, we learn to kind of nudge the ego out of the way and figure out what the right thing is for us, you know, and how to feed that, you know. So, Mandakini says, "Female poets were tragic." Female poets were tragic and curmudgeonly and inevitably committed suicide in my formative years. Yes, they did. Emily Dickinson. Oh my God, my family still makes jokes about Emily Dickinson and the death and the funeral in my brain and blah 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 blah. You know, and it's why would we possibly decide to become a poet after poor old Emily Dickinson? You know? Yeah, those stories really formed us. Those stories really shaped us and curated us for better or worse, you know? So part of the work that we do as artists and on this artist way creative recovery, whether you're doing the 12-week program or not, um, we part of the work is to look back at those kind of stories and say, well, what was I fed and was there any truth in it? And generally there's some truth in it. There's truth in the fact that maybe Emily did write this stuff and maybe she was an eccentric character, but the reactions of the people, they freaked out. They didn't keep calm. They didn't look at Emily and say, "God, Emily, thanks for blessing the universe with this beautiful work, and it's reflecting what I feel in my darkest moments, and thank you." Um, and we'll get to a point where we'll thank her, but it takes a long time, and it can do an awful lot of damage in the meantime, you know? So, yeah, and compare that to James Joyce or Tennyson or whoever. And, look, there is that male-female thing for sure. And I don't think Julia focuses too much on that, but I myself speaking, I would feel that there's a huge gender discrepancy, but sure, you can put that in any industry, any job, engineering, physics, science, painting and decorating, roofing, whatever, you know. And look, things are starting to change or have been starting to change for some time. We just have to keep it going. We just have to keep calm and keep going. And sometimes that means just not sharing with other people, I'm a writer. It takes a while for me to say to another person what I do. With other creatives, it's an auto thing. It's wonderful. It's great to bond with them, and you can spot them a mile off. Do you know what I mean? They generally have purple hair and are the loudest people there. Look, that's a stereotype as well, but it's a metaphor really to say that the artist is generally the one who's not afraid. The others are, even the body language sometimes. So in safety, we can express, we can be the strong creatives that we know we are. And that comes with time, comes with time and practice and small little baby steps. Eva, hello. Good morning. Yes, a place to freak out. Absolutely. We freak out on the artist's way all the effing time because it's safe and because we're with other people who get it, who need a bit of a freak out too. Generally, a certain kind of person does this work. A certain kind of person does creative recovery, does morning pages, and does the artist's way, and makes art. A certain kind of person, and over time we get to spot them. Mandakini says, "Wise words feeding the writing self rather than the image of the writer." Yeah, and it's look, I fell for that for 15 odd years, longer. The image of. So, and with time, I got away from the shame of feeling that, of looking back and feeling ashamed of how I perpetuated that and my roles and all of that. And look, it was ignorance. A lot of it was simply ignorance, and I hadn't discovered this way of living and thinking. And thankfully, I have now. Let's start our pages. Okay. Mandakini says, I'd rather be a pole dancer and be fit and have fun. Absolutely. There's still time, Mandakini. Yeah, you and the pole. Go for it. Go for it, my friend. Me, I don't know, more of a trapeze person, I think. I'd be more of a trapeze artist, like The Greatest Showman. Oh my gosh, it was so inspiring, that magazine, that movie. Guys, let's get our pages out. Let's get started. It's almost 1:15, and I have a shed load of stuff to be doing today. Shed load. We're still renovating houses and doing painting and stuff like that. And there's just stuff on every floor, which doesn't allow me go and make art, and it doesn't allow me do much. So I'm up in my bedroom. I'm doing these lives here in the quiet and relative calm of my bedroom. I'm going to go for 10 minutes, guys. Are you ready? Thanks for joining us, and we will enjoy these 10 minutes of connection and engagement. All right, and go. Okay, time. You ready to review? We take 60 seconds, okay? And go. There we go. Holy God, that's a quick one. Okay. That was good. It was good for me. How was it for you? Oh, jeepers. How was it for you? Getting a bit of connection, I hope. Getting a bit of a link to what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart. Yeah. That's why we do this. It's just to connect for a few minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Mandakini says it was quite deep. Yeah. Great. Love it. Eva says, I had to relearn how to allow myself to freak out because I was the first child. Wow. Goodness. That's amazing. That's amazing, Eva. Having to allow yourself to freak out, having to be that person to grant the permission to see the problem, as a parent would and should, doesn't always happen, to recognize it and to do something about it. Bravo, my friend. And I often think I'm child number 6, and I wasn't allowed to freak out. So it's it could be a little more universal than you actually believe. It could be. But the more we talk about this, the more we find out the universals, and a lot of people that I've met on the Artist's Way, they have their hang-ups for different reasons. They have their blocks for different reasons, But let's look at the blocks. Let's look at the issues and the narratives and the stories that keep us stuck. And you'll find that they are very shareable and very recognizable between people on the Artist's Way, or doing pages, or just doing their exploration. Mandakini says, I'm the first child too. Maybe there's something I've missed then, I'll look about the 6th child. No, I'm joking. Mandakini says, I'm the first child too. And I just wrote about having to be responsible, a compulsion. Wow. That's amazing. I'm sure that there's been work done on that, social science research has been done on that, and the impact that of being a first child. I'm sure there is, Eva says, yes, I was the first of 6. Great. Manakini says, wow, that feeling of overcommitment has overridden so much of my joy. Wow. Overcommitment to being responsible and being good, maybe, is it? Has overridden so much of the joy. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It's called the eldest daughter syndrome. Wow. Okay, so it is a thing. All right. I'm going to have to figure something out for my 6th daughter or 6th child thing. I'm joking. I love you, Mom. You did a great job. Great stuff. All right, let's do our 3 deep breaths, my friend. And just want you to take this moment and recognize what you're doing, whether you feel it yet or not, whether you believe it yet or not. I just want to reassure you that you are doing this right. You are doing this journey, this life right. I can say that with some confidence because I know that you're tuning in to the person you are inside and you're paying attention to that person through your pages, be them morning or evening or 5 minutes here or a scribble there. You're tuning into that now, aren't you? And in lots of ways, that makes this the right way for you. And I just want to reassure you that if you haven't heard that lately, sometimes it's nice to realize that what you're doing it right for you. And in time, a lovely confidence comes from that, you know. So in time. All in time. Let's take 3 deep breaths. All right. We go in for 4, we hold for 4, and we go out for 4. And on the third one, we make it audible just to freak out, just to practice the freak outs. Let's practice the freak outs, actually. Let's make freak outs, meld them somehow with breathing. Maybe laugh your way through this, you know? Okay, so we go in. Yeah, that's me freaking out. Okay, we're going to do that if you want to. Shake your body. I don't mind. Yeah, come on, freak out. And the last one. Oh, yeah, flipping heck. Get that out of you. Yeah, just freak out. Just let it all out. I should really teach yoga, shouldn't I? Guys, thanks a million. You've made it a pleasure as per usual. I will see you tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow, the following day, Thursday. This coming Friday, I normally do 45 minutes. I normally started at 10 and I quit at 11. I'm otherwise engaged this Friday with a very pleasurable, fun time with my eldest child. And so we are going to have a lovely day together on Friday, and I will see you Wednesday for sure and Thursday for sure. But Friday the 13th, I am crying off our usual longer morning pages. Okay, so either access one of my other replayable 3 and 45s, or just do it quietly on your own and make a little altar for yourself, a little bit of time, because you probably would be doing it whether I was present or not. And it might be a lovely thing for you to do, you know. All right, my friends, I will see you soon, and have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Bye bye.